Hello, this is Salvatore Vinciguerra, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you Cades Cove, located in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park in Tennessee. Cades Cove is an isolated valley located in the Tennessee section of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. The valley was home to numerous settlers before the formation of the national park. Today, Cades Cove serves as the single most popular destination for visitors to the park and attracts more than 2 million visitors a year because of its well-preserved homesteads, scenic mountain views, and an abundant display of wildlife. Here's a map of Cades Cove, and as you can see at the beginning of it and going around through the entire loop, it can take you about 3 hours or so, even though it's only a couple of miles, and that's because you're driving through different mountain terrain and also because the posted speed limit is very low and you should be driving the speed limit because this particular loop has many different areas where you can stop along the way and go hiking and see the various animals that maybe are coming very close to your particular car or the area where you're driving. Now for me, this is a very short trip through Cades Cove, and I wanted to travel through here during the evening time, and that's so that I could see the various parts of nature and wildlife that come out at this particular time. So the evening time, and this is summer, is around 6 o'clock, and you still have about 2 to 3 hours of daylight left where you can go ahead and stop along the side of the road and see some of the farm animals coming in to graze for the evening. And yes, these horses are very friendly. There's lots of people on the side of the road right here, and you can pet them, but remember, if you do try to pet some of these animals, and I don't recommend you pet the wild animals, but you could maybe pet some of these horses, it is at your own risk. And remember that there are rules in the national parks and other state parks where you have to stay a certain number of feet away from the animals or you could get hurt. So please follow the rules. Here's that black crow that wanted some attention earlier in the video. But there are other animals that you can see as you're driving around, especially the black bears. And the black bears would be present either in the early morning hours or the late afternoon to evening hours, such as what I'm showing you here in this video. Other animals that you would find here in Cades Cove would be white-tailed deer, coyotes, turkeys, and leave those elks to the Cherokee side, as they really are present in North Carolina, but the black bears come out really in this Cades Cove, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area, and when you drive through those particular areas at different times of the day. This valley of Cades Cove has a very rich history, and for many hundreds of years, the Cherokee Indians hunted in Cades Cove, but archaeologists have found no evidence of major settlements. The first Europeans settled in the cove sometime between 1818 and 1821. By 1830, the population of the area had already swelled to 271. Cades Cove offers the widest variety of historic buildings of any other area in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. I highly suggest that you go back to this area, take your time, hike through the various areas that they have here. And yeah, that could take a couple of hours. You can even come back and schedule yourself to come back another day. But make sure you're looking at the National Park Service website for road closures of any kind. Sometimes they have bicyclists on certain days and it's closed through certain hours. But they have some very unique buildings here. The churches, you could spend hours just exploring the various areas where the churches are located, and especially the farm area where they have an old mill and a visitor center. And make sure that you check out the shop that they have there and talk to the various park rangers as they're doing live demonstrations during the day, and it's great for children of all ages. If you have an RV or you like to tent camp, Cades Cove has its own campground and it's open year-round. It has 159 sites, tents and RVs up to 35 feet, and make sure that you're making your reservation on recreation.gov. Other areas to camp are the Anthony Creek Horse Camp and backcountry camping, and make sure that you're going to the same website, recreation.gov, to reserve your site or to just get more information, because it really is a nice place to visit, and especially during the summer, this is a great place for people in the South to go and cool off and have a good time in this area here. Cades Cove is about 57 miles from Cherokee, North Carolina, 27 miles from Gatlinburg, and only 9 miles from Townsend. So there's a variety of different areas that if you don't want to stay in the national park, you can go stay in these bigger cities. But, I think that the National Park Service has a great bargain. You look at their website, I think it's only $20 a night to bring your RV or tent camp, compared to maybe doubling that price if you're going to stay at a KOA, or even much more if you're going to stay at a hotel. Earlier in the video, you saw a short video of my hike to Abrams Falls, and that is about a 5.2 mile hiking trail that comes out of the Cades Cove Loop Road at the creek. And here you can expect to walk through forests of pine oaks, hemlocks, rhododendrons, before arriving at that beautiful waterfall, which is about 20 feet high, and it's named for the Cherokee chief Abram. Hiking up to Abrams Falls can be quite a challenge, and I highly suggest that you bring your hiking boots and your walking stick if you're going to be doing this particular hike. And yes, it is a very beautiful waterfall. It's about a 20-foot high waterfall, and it depends upon what kind of experience you want here in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. I know that on a hot summer day, that waterfall can be very refreshing as you're eating your lunch and then walking back in the afternoon. That particular hike can take about 3 to 4 hours to complete, and do your research before you go so that way you know what you're going to get into as you're going up that particular trail, as I really didn't think that that was the best hike to see a waterfall like that. I thought that there are other areas in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park that are better hikes and you get to see more beautiful waterfalls. So check out my other videos in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, as I do have some other experiences like the video that I filmed on the Roaring Fork Motor Trail and some other videos that are upcoming in Cherokee, North Carolina and the Bryson City, North Carolina area. The summers here in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park can be quite warm, and so the evenings are a great time to go exploring some of these wonderful buildings that are in Cades Cove. This is Dan Lawson's cabin, and it was built around 1856 and originally belonged to his father-in-law, Peter Cable. Unusual for the Smokies in the 1850s, this cabin has a brick chimney. As were most bricks in Cades Cove, they were handmade on the property. Due to the beautiful woodwork and architecture of the cabin, it is believed that Peter Cable helped Dan Lawson build the cabin. As a pre-Civil War dwelling, the original cabin was made of logs, but it was altered at times by the addition of saved lumber. Lawson also expanded his land holdings from time to time, eventually owning a large strip of land which stretched from the ridge to the ridge. The cabin would be later expanded with an additional second story and porch. The porch would be used for the post office that was ran from his home. This video gives you some idea as to what the inside of this cabin looks like, and you can barely see the fireplace in this video, but it is a quite unique structure. But this is one of the bigger structures or cabins that I've seen here in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, as some of the others are very small and they aren't really as expansive as this, but this is a whole farm here that he has here. And just take your time as you're walking through this homestead and make sure that you're exploring the various areas and maybe doing some research before you visit, so that way when you look into some of these buildings and you explore them, you know what they are. This is what a typical farm looks like here in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which usually includes a barn, smokehouse, and a granary, which in this case, all of these are still standing today. Dan Lawson lived in Cades Cove with his wife Sydney, and the couple was well known in their community. In addition to many other activities, Dan led singing at the Methodist Church, while Sydney helped to educate the children. Their great-granddaughter, Robin Berry, donated some of the family's items to the national park, including a family Bible, portraits, and a handmade dresser that Dan had built as a wedding present for his bride. These items are now part of the National Park Service Collections Preservation Center, which is located in Townsend, Tennessee, which is not too far away from Cades Cove. As you can see, spending an evening in Cades Cove can be quite a unique experience, especially as the sun is setting. Don't forget to check out my other videos in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park and my YouTube main homepage, where I have a variety of different activities and places to visit in this area of Tennessee and North Carolina. This is Salvatore Vinciguerra. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and have a wonderful day.